So, what is trending on Twitter today? Um, Apparently, Sussex Squad, Disney Plus, Prince Andrew, Queen Elizabeth II. Oh, I wonder why. Hate for hired journalists. Hate for hired journalists. What's that all about? Let's see what's going on over here. Hate for hired journalists, especially at Dan Wooten, aka hashtag Saddleman, should be worried about King Charles, not Meghan, being booed. Okay. Who is that? I try to avoid even knowing these people's names because I don't want my mind, just. Anyway, how are you guys? Good morning. I forgot to say good morning. How are you today, my darling? Whoever you are, my Sussex Squatty. I hope you are well. I didn't get to do a video this morning. It's now midday, and I am just taking a quick look at, the internet to see what's going on, what's new. And I saw that there's this new trending hashtag. I've never heard of this hashtag, hate for hire journalists, but it does seem like between the UK and Australia that there is an alarming number of I don't know how I would describe these people. Like this individual here, I don't know her name, but like maybe I've stumbled across her image or her whatever it was a couple of times, and I was just like repelled immediately. It was like oh, you know. And who else is here? I mean, the usual suspects. I guess, is that the Dan Wooden? Maybe that's Dan Wooden. Oh God, it's like unbelievable. And the thing is that I can't really, you know, in somewhere inside me, my mind, I don't know. I always feel like everybody can be redeemed. Everybody's human. It's just say the right things to them and think the right thoughts, and somehow, even the very, very worst person among us can be redeemed. But I think that's a very naive viewpoint, because I do think that there are many of these people cannot be redeemed. And you only have to stumble upon them, their websites, an interview they're having for, like, I don't know, less than 2 minutes, less than maybe a minute, and immediately you feel so unwell. You have to get away from the environment. It's like a kind of pollution, that it's like a mental pollution, but it's more than pollution, because we all live in a polluted world, and you can still survive in the pollution. But with some of these people, just it's impossible. I mean, you can't even abide what they're saying for a second. You just have to close the door and run. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Because it's unstopping, and they cannot be redeemed, you know? So, yeah, so hate for hire journalists, that's like a whole new hashtag. And I did find that very interesting how Kate apparently said that walking with Meghan was and Harry was one of the hardest things she's had to do. It suggests maybe that she has had a very, very privileged life, because if that's the hardest thing, just walking with Meghan and Harry. Meghan looked so terrified that day, and Kate came out like a bully who knew that she had won and she had the people on her side and she's strong, and her posture was so aggressive and not at all like somebody at a funeral, of a beloved grandmother, not pious, not sort of tender and gentle and forgiving, and just reverent, and being in the moment of the death of this great woman, but like a bull, who had been let out, in Spain, in Pamplona or something, I don't know. And she was ready to do combat. That's how she behaved. And Meghan was like terrified. You could see Meghan was shaking. Sometimes her legs seemed like they were even buckling. And she held on for dear life to Harry. And this woman, Kate, has the audacity to say it's one of the hardest things she's ever had to do. It's just amazing what people will do, and people can be wrong and strong, and just they don't care. And I mean, this is how you know that this is hell. I mean, in the animal kingdom, you look at the animals, they don't care. They don't care what your problems are. They're going to attack and kill you. In the sea, in the jungle, in the air, among the birds, all the beasts, and the humans. That's the hardest thing she has had to do. What a privileged young woman she is. God bless you, Kate. God bless you for the future. Um, so hate for hire journalists. I can't forget this guy who came from France and flew to Montecito to spread his propaganda. And I've subsequently seen other publications in France picking up the story and reporting it as if it's fact. I mean, this guy goes to California trying to say, well, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex have incorporated Archwell and other companies in Delaware, so this makes them somehow fraudsters and criminals, knowing damn well that, you know, Delaware is a state where people from all over the world, but even in the United States and around the world, it's a preferred state to incorporate because of all the benefits that you have as a corporation. Or talking about the fact that they didn't give away all their endowment, they only gave away 23%, knowing that they're only required to give away 5% according to American law from the Internal Revenue Service of the United States, or talking about the fact that they have a virtual office, knowing full well that many nonprofits, if not most, and certainly many entrepreneurs, more and more every day, are moving toward virtual offices because it just makes more sense. Meghan and Harry have a charitable foundation. Why pay hundreds of thousands of dollars a year on rent when the nature of your work, you're making phone calls, you're networking, you're raising funds, and you're paying money out to people, a portion of it, not all of it, but you're helping. You're required to give 5%, you're giving 23%. None of that is reported. He comes back and he paints all that. And this guy even had charts and this and that and graphs, which he's showing people the fraud that Meghan and Harry are, knowing that it's fake news, it's a lie, it's misleading, it's horrible, it's demonic. And the French papers are all picking this up, and they're pumping this into the minds of people, including young people, impressionable people who depend on these adults to help them to shape their worldview, right? And so, yeah, this is a network, hate for hire journalists, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's a central place where these people are all coming from. It's a conspiracy. It's like a whole agenda. It's like it's worldwide. They spread far. It's in America, but it's all over the world. Europe, you know, UK, Australia is not Europe, but Australia and New Zealand, everywhere. Soon it's going to be in Russia and Kazakhstan and Israel and Poland, and they come and they put it in their language and take it back to the people to spread this hate. I think it's essential. I think it's coming from a central place. I really do. Um, and it is inhumane. Um, couldn't sugarcoat the fact you said lifeboats should ignore asylum seekers in trouble and let them drown. That's not treasonous, that's inhumane. Hate for hire journalists. I'm not sure what that's all about, but I guess I can, guess at it. But yeah, it's an interesting phenomenon that I see, and it is really, really shocking to think that, the British royal family could be in cahoots with these types of people and could be encouraging these types of people and maybe even employing these type of people, setting them, whether directly or indirectly. It's incredible. I don't want to believe it. Don't be afraid to leave the table when respect is no longer served. Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing thing to me, really.